May the 4th be with you. Hello and welcome back to the weekly crypto review. So we have about a week until the halving, and I was wrong last week, and I'm man enough to admit it. I said last week that we probably wouldn't get up to $10,000. We haven't made it to $10,000, but we came close. I am constantly surprised by Bitcoin, and that's a good thing. So let's take a look at what we've got. First off, as always, if you find this information of value, please like, subscribe, and share this video. If you really like this video, feel free to go to cryptocureencies.tv/support and use any of these addresses to send me a little bit of Bitcoin or other crypto. And in the description below, you will see a link to get and download the Brave browser. If you download the Brave browser for free and you use it for 30 days, I get a little bit of crypto, I get a little bit of BAT from them. That's a good deal. All right, so let's get to things here. Here's the chart we were looking at last week. It's a weekly chart. This is last week's candle, and it's 2 to 3 times bigger than the previous week's. I should have known better. I really should have. We're getting very close to the halving, and that tends to mean that the market is going to go up. Now you'll notice that this week, if you look at the vertical line, this week is where the two lines of resistance up here cross. We're not going to get up above 10,400 and whatever. We're 10.5. We're not going to get above that, and that's fine. I would love to see a $12,000 Bitcoin by the halving, because typically after the halving, Bitcoin's price, and it's not immediately, but soon after the halving, Bitcoin's price drops by about 30%. Well, if we had a $12,000 Bitcoin, it would drop down to about $8,000. And that would be great because that's above where I last put money into Bitcoin. But as it is, we're at 8,700. We could see 9,000. Let's see, what was the high on this? Was 9,400, 9,441. So last week we went up to as high as 9,400. We could do the same this week. We could see a $10,000 Bitcoin this week. We'll have to wait and see what goes on. One of the things I really like about this last week's chart, if you look at the volume is up above what it had been. And I'd like to see some high volume again. The reason that Bitcoin tends to drop after the halving is it's a buy the rumor, sell the news sort of thing, because the supply of Bitcoin, the supply of reward, subsidy is what they call it, that the miners get when they mine a new block, drops in half. It's cut in half. So it goes from 12.5 Bitcoin now to 6.25 Bitcoin after the halving. And that is something that tends to get people excited. It's a very visible aspect of Bitcoin that shows that it is not an inflationary system of money or value. I won't call it deflationary. I mean, certainly it is. It has some deflationary aspects to it. For example, the supply being cut in half every approximately 4 years. But it is not a deflationary monetary system. It's simply not inflationary. The inflation rate goes down instead of going up, which is what happens with a fiat system. And you're all familiar with the fiat system and why it sucks and why no fiat system has ever worked. They've all gone to zero. And the current one is going to go to zero as well. I fully expect, based on what I'm seeing in charts and around, just looking around, we're going to have a new monetary system here soon. The current fiat system that we have has been in effect since 1971, so it's been 49 years, and it's actually past due by about between 9 and 19 years for a new monetary system. I don't think Bitcoin is going to be that new monetary system. I would love for it to be, but I don't think it will be. I do expect that it will have an influence on the new monetary system. I expect that certainly the U.S. Federal Reserve, as well as other central banks around the world, are going to try and con us into using some sort of crypto digital currency, digital dollar, digital euro. China's already trying to work a digital yuan. They're going to have much more success at it because they're a totalitarian system. The U.S., while it's quickly becoming totalitarian, is not yet, but I fully expect that within the next 5 years, we'll be using digital money much more readily than we are now. But back to my point, we have this halving that's coming up in a week, and it is a major force in the price of Bitcoin, because if you look at the stock to flow model, every time we have had a halving, and this one starts back in, looks like 2012. Every time we have a halving, you can get this up here. Okay, there's the one in 2013. Here's the one in 2016. Every time we have a halving, the price goes up. Sometimes it goes up massively after the halving. But if you look closely at each halving, come on, where are we? Let's get there. There we are. And really can't see it here because let's do this. So here's the halving, okay? And the price didn't go down so much as it went sideways. And that's fine. That was way back in 2013. If we go to the one here at 2016, we absolutely had a run up, and then we had the halving here, and it had already dropped down in price, and then it dropped more. So we expect to see a drop in price after the halving. Standard procedure. And typically that drop is about 30%. So in the next, between now and the end of June, you can expect the price of Bitcoin, wherever its high is, you can expect that price to drop about 30%. At this point, the high is 9,400. Okay, so that's going to take us down to about $7,000. Assuming a 30%, actually, $6,000. 30% of 9,000 is going to be 3,000. So, drop of about $3,000 to around $6,000. I absolutely can see that. Now, of course, that's just going to shake out the weak hands. Those of us who are in this for the long term, those of us who see that the stock to flow model takes us up to, 85,000 or above. And I absolutely, again, I look at this model, and every time we've gone to the halving, the price of Bitcoin has far exceeded this line. Okay? So I fully expect the price to be up here, well above $100,000. As I've stated, $257,000 is the specific amount I am looking at seeing each Bitcoin worth by the end of this bull run near the end of 2021. I absolutely believe that's going to be the price. Time will tell if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Let me rephrase that. I expect a minimum of $257,000. I actually can see it going upwards of $400,000 per Bitcoin. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that I can see that as a possibility. Again, none of this is ever investment advice of any kind. It's not advice of any type. I'm simply looking at charts and telling you, here's what I see. So, we have a week until the halving, and things are getting exciting. The price of Bitcoin is going up, relatively speaking. And I fully expect that this time next week we'll have another green candle, and we may be up here closer to $10,000 by the end of this week. That would be exciting. I would love to see it. Are we going to get above 10.5? Absolutely not. I don't see any way. If it gets above 10.5 with the double resistance I talked about last week of both because if we look, let's see here, where am I? There we go. This green line comes from the peak at 2017, the end of 2017, the peak of the market. This has been resistance for 2 years now, 2.5 years. It's not going to be broken very easily, okay? And the fact that it's crossing here with this resistance that has also come from the bear market after the peak of 2017. This is high resistance. You cross them both, and it's massive resistance. We're not going to get. I don't see us getting through that. Not right now. That's okay. If we can get to $10,000, a 30% retracement will take us back to $7,000, and I think that people will be fine with that. So that's where we stand. We're going up in price. I hope we continue up in price. Don't expect it to jump up above $10,000, and if it does, not very far above. 10.5 is the line where we're going to see massive resistance. It's not going to get above there. It may touch it. It'll probably bounce off, and we'll wait again for it to go above that. Maybe by the end of the month, maybe into June, we might be able to get above 10,005. But until then, it's not going to happen. Anyway, that's what I had for you this week. Remember, don't trust, verify.